right before we had gone on air yesterday, Jeff Sessions had given a press conference, I guess. I don't know. Would you call it a press conference? It was really more of an announcement. He didn't take any questions. He just sat there sort of gleefully talking about how they were rescinding the executive order that essentially created DACA. And now, I just want to explain this to you, too, because we went through this, and we went through it relatively quickly in terms of Jeff Sessions yesterday. But the argument that the administration is making, and you hear repeated over and over again, is that what the Obama administration did was unconstitutional. This is a total fabrication. Like I say, it's perfectly legal for Donald Trump to announce, or his attorney general to announce, we're just going to reverse this policy. They can do that, but they don't even have the guts to do it. They're couching it in this notion that it was unconstitutional. And let me just very quickly, before we get to what I want to talk about today, make it clear why that's bullcrap. And we touched on it just briefly yesterday. But there is virtually, and why they had to do this before the lawsuit from these 10 states. 10 states had threatened to sue the administration as of like September 5th or something, or 6th or 9th, if they didn't reverse it. Folks like Chris Kobach and I think it's maybe it was Abbott in Texas. I can't remember who the AG is there now. And no one refutes the idea that the administration, or any administration, has the right to set immigration policy in terms of enforcement. Right? There was a change. We have seen a change by the Trump administration in that regard. They no longer prioritize gang members over mothers who have been here for 25 years and have had committed no crimes. They've made that change. None of these attorney generals in these states are threatening to sue the administration over that change. The Obama administration had a document that said, we're going to go specifically after undocumented immigrants who may pose a national security risk. Well, when they do that with limited resources, you are specifically adding, maybe unarticulated or maybe articulated, a class of people who you're not going to go after because you don't have the resources. And that's all the Obama administration did. They simply said, we are going to, this group of people, we are not a priority for us. If you came to this country after or before 2007, you are under the age of 15, you are now under the age of 35, we're not going to go after you. We're going to defer action on you. That's what they're going to do. And then, once action has been deferred and their status has changed, or they are allowed an exception to be in the country at least temporarily, the Attorney General, both by regulation from 1981 and by federal statute from 1986, is allowed to provide them temporary work permission. So when you look at DACA, it's not one, it is really a group of regulations that emanate from the president's more or less prosecutorial power, if you want to call it that, discretion, And the laws emanate from that. So the idea that this is unconstitutional is absurd. It's absurd on its face. It's not only not unconstitutional, it's not contrary to statute. But they will say this because, and we've had listeners on this program who have called in the fun half. I'm not going to name any names, Doug. But claiming to be constitutional conservatives. And so the administration knows they can just say the word Constitution and it gets people to jump. It's really a substitute for white supremacy more often than not. So I just want to make that absolutely clear. As and then there were other lies that that Sessions gleefully passed on. But that's the foundational argument that this is unconstitutional. And then after that, it's just about politics. And so basically what you have is not that the Trump administration's hand was forced, not that they were remedying some unconstitutional breach. In fact, I think Jeff Sessions, unless there is a new directive from the Office of Legal Counsel in the Department of Justice, his own Department of Justice said it was not unconstitutional. This is just a policy decision. So now it's in the hands of Congress. Hi, folks. Sam Seder here. We still need your help on our Patreon page. YouTube ads have come back, but not nearly as much as we had before. So if you can help us out, any little bit helps. Head over to our Patreon page right at this URL, and you'll help us keep helping you by making videos